Hey guys, in this video I want to go through and cover some of the new stuff that's been going on inside the map editor. So the two main ones are going to be the materials as well as the world settings, mostly pertaining to lights currently. Now to begin, I'm going to go ahead and I'll just show off the materials. Now, as always with everything, this is all replicated, so I'll just give you an example here. Here I have my client, and here I have my server on the right hand side. Client will just change up these guys, and the server can change up the other one. So I'll make these white, and we'll make them both red. And same thing on the server, we'll just do blue and white. So everything's replicated. It's just basically good to go. Same thing goes with the whole saving and loading. But let's go ahead and just walk through the general idea of how this kind of shows up. So I'm going to show you the saving and the loading as well here in a second. So for any selected object, you have multiple meshes. So in the case of this, we have two meshes. And we have multiple materials, so two materials. So here's mesh main, so that'll be this guy, and mesh main 1, that'll be this guy. Both of them have two materials on their mesh. So here's the first one. I'll make it red so you can see. Then I'll make the second one white. And then we move on to the next material. Same thing, red and white. Now here's an example with just one mesh, just one material. But basically any sort of mesh that you have and any material that you have in it, you can go through and you can actually change. So it's just kind of up to you for how you want to set it up. Now, moving on to the world settings, this is new. We can control the time of day very easily, manually set it. So this will be straight down. That looks really bad. And we also control the brightness. Now, this is all replicated as well. So for example, I'll go ahead and I'll just change it to, we'll just do that. And I will make, let's go ahead and spawn this guy up here. Change out its colors. We'll just do white, red, and white, and blue. Let's go ahead and save that as map 1. When we hit play, we can go ahead and load that map back up. Here we have the time of day, we have our brightness, and we have all the material changes that we've made already saved. Now, like I stated before, all replicated, including time of day. That's why it's actually a dedicated actor for controlling the time of day. So for example, I'll just go ahead and load up the map. Everything's up and good to go and set on the client. So this is all replicated amongst everybody so they can see the settings and the changes basically happening live. So I'll make that really bright and bump it up to 11, which is annoying. But that's all controlled through this dedicated actor, which we now have set up. And basically the only reason for this actor is for the sake of easy replication and easy control. So we also have some settings in it. Let me go ahead and move the world settings down. I need to actually filter this a little bit. So ignore the name, but this allows for client authoritative adjustments, basically. Changes to the settings from the client. So if I uncheck that, and let's say I try to adjust the time on the client, as you can see, nothing happens, just because the client has no authority over it. So we've completely disabled the client's ability to, well, mess around with anything in the world. So fun. All right, now let's go ahead and step on through all these options here. So here we have the content browser. Now I will point out this entire interface here is basically can be redone in any way you see fit. So this is designed just like my Ultimate FPS framework to be a framework that you can basically extend and build upon. So you have a single component that you add to your character and you use that almost like an interface to interact with everything else. So for reference, here we just have some simple stuff that we can use for building. So I can just add cube here, go into the free selection. Here we have obviously the world settings, change time of day, change your brightness. Here we have the selected details. So for example, here I have my translation, my rotation, and my scale. So I can just bump it up on the X by, let's do 3. And now we have a wider cube, and now we have a taller cube. Fun. Didn't mean to do 0. And same thing goes with the rotation. So if you want the manual control, you can do so. It's just really up to you. I guess I have snapping set to, I have snapping set to 10. So we'll just zero that back out. Now we have a materials section as well. So this is the new thing I was just showing. And like I stated, it's basically per mesh, per material. So you can select really just kind of anything you want. You're not really restricted to one item, one material, or anything like that. You can have 50 different materials on one mesh if you really wanted to go that unoptimized with it, and it'll just work with the system. Next up, we have tool settings. So for right now, we have control over the location and the rotation snapping. So these should actually both be enabled by default. I don't know why it's showing false, but as you can see, we snap by 10. Here I can turn on free translation, and same thing with our rotation. We're currently snapping by 10 degrees. We now have free control over the rotation. And same thing goes, we have the local axis that we can work with as well. Moving on out, we have an outliner. Now, there's two different example options for this outliner. The first one is basically anything that is in the world is part of the outliner. So you can go through, select whatever you really want, and do whatever you want with it. And the easiest way to change that is if we actually head over to the outliner. I have two different examples here. So I'll plug the other one in and hit play and move to the outliner, and you can see there's nothing there. But if I spawn in some actors, so here we have a cube, now we'll have some stairs, and now we'll have the multicolored cube. And they all start to appear inside the outliner. So it's basically only actors that you have spawned, so that you are the authoritative owner of them, so to speak, even though others can still manipulate them if they wish. We have a uniform scale. So if I head over and press R, we can shrink and grow uniformly on all axes. And again, if you want to tweak that individually, you can go through here. So let's say I want the y-axis to be back to 1, 5, and 1. It's really just up to you. And then lastly, we have the same save and load system. Just nothing really to write home about here. It's just that's all it does, is it saves the maps and loads them. So for example, tutorial, I have caps lock on, save the map. It's now part of the map loader. So if we close down, we hit play, we'll go ahead and load up tutorial. Oh, that's right, I didn't change anything. We'll just move this guy here. So tutorial, go ahead and overwrite it, hit play again, load tutorial, and bada bing, bada boom, done. Pretty straightforward. Only the server can load the map, so that's set up to where clients cannot royally shaft an entire server by trying to do so. There's just no chance of it. And yeah, I'm expecting to have this up on the marketplace in the next couple of days. I'm just going through and doing some final little touches here and adding, well, I don't fully know yet, but mostly just doing some cleanup. Anyways, I will see you in the next video.